It's time for Superman to be Superman again. The dawn of DC is starting up now in January. And what's happening is all of the superheroes are being brought together into one cohesive storyline, one giant continuity once again. But some superheroes, such as Superman, are in a state that might be difficult to work with. At the moment, Lex Luthor is considered a good guy, and Superman's identity is outed into the world. So before we can start a brand new era of Superman, we're going to have to correct those issues. Today we're going to be covering Action Comics 1050, which is the issue that brings Superman back to a rather standard status quo so we can start this new dawn of DC. This is the Comicstorian channel where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues. I break them down into digestible bites, and I let you know what's going on in the world of comic books by giving you an audio drama of the books that I get excited for. Today we're going to be covering the Superman reboot. With the world black, a voice can be heard telling Manchester to wake up. As he does, he blinks, asking what is going on, and the voice tells him, "Sorry to interrupt your sleep, but it sounded like you weren't interested in continuing to report on Superman's activities. But even without that, I still have a use for you." Manchester tries to struggle out of the machine that he's hooked up to. He says that he wakes up like this far too often. Lex Luthor tells him, "I regret that you have to die like this, but you're reaching the end of your potential. There is one thing that I wish to know before it all ends for you, though. When you fought alongside Superman on that war world, did he really make you a follower of his?" Manchester sighs. "Yeah, I suppose so. Sorry to say, I did drink the Kool-Aid. But want to know a secret about him? Want to know what he thinks about the great, powerful Lex Luthor? What he says about you in his darkest moments? You won't believe it." Lex turns intrigued. "Yes, what did he say?" Manchester smiles. "Nothing. All of your years of obsessing over him like a lovesick tween, and the trillions you've spent trying to kill him, and Superman doesn't think about you at all." Lex grits his teeth. "Thank you, Manchester." And he flips the switch. The machine begins to wind up, tapping into Manchester Black's ability, and as it continues to power up, there's a loud explosion, and a hypnotic wave washes over the world. Over in Smallville, the sun is setting. Lois gets the table ready and asks John if he can go out and check on where his father is. John tells her, of course, and he flies out and looks around, and he finds what he is looking for. He returns home to state that Dad is out helping with a dam in India. "Would you guys mind if I, went over there and helped him?" John's boyfriend, Jay Nakamura, tells him to go. John asks if he's sure. Jay says stopping a potential natural disaster sounds more important than setting the table. "I'll call you if we accidentally set the dessert spoons on the wrong side. Go." Moments later, John is in India helping Superman patch up a bursting dam. Back home, the guests for dinner begin to arrive. Perry White from the Daily Planet comes in, and as John Kent welcomes him in, he asks if he's met with Jay Nakamura. Perry tells him, "No, but I know everything about you, but why are you here, Jay Nakamura?" Jay, the eco-terrorist turned good guy, begins to ask why wouldn't he be here, when suddenly Superman and John return, and Perry stares at them with a blank face. Superman hugs Perry. "It's good to see you, old friend." And Perry pauses. Why is Superman? Where is Clark?" Superman pauses, confused. "Perry, it's me, Clark. Is everything all right?" As the thought of Superman being Clark Kent begins to form in Perry White's mind, John notices that Perry's heart is beginning to fail. Then they rush him to the hospital. As Perry White is stabilized, Superman scans him and realizes that he had a minor stroke. But equally as important, Perry has forgotten Superman's secret identity. In fact, the very thought that Superman and Clark Kent were the same person almost killed him. As Superman and Lois begin to come up with ideas how it is even possible, Superman begins to hear a high-pitched sound that seemingly only he can hear. It begins to get louder by the second, and when it becomes too much, Superman rushes out to find the source. Within moments, he's flying over to LexCorp. "You've got my attention, Lex. Now shut it off!" Lex Luthor taps the button on his watch to stop the siren. "Oh, look who it is. You know, the insufferable Olsen had a watch like this. I realized that it gave off a signal when he needed help. It didn't take much to replicate it with a few upgrades." What do you want, Lex? After my indiscussion with Perpetua, I realized something that is hard to admit. The world needs Superman, and you've proven that twice now. First with your absence on Warworld with Mongol, then during the multiversal mayhem with Pariah, when you were believed to be dead. Again, Lex opens up a large door. So if the world needs Superman, then we shall give them the best version. My Superman! A new suit is revealed, and Superman stares at it as Lex goes on. With my mind and my resources, just imagine what the two of us could accomplish. All we need is to make the world believe that you're a god, that you're above them, not one of them. The world cannot know that you are Clark Kent. Superman thinks back to Perry for a moment. What did you do? I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to be the second best investigative journalist in Metropolis. While Superman is away, I gathered technology from Warworld and Henry Bendrix's little superhuman project, and I combined it with Manchester Black's powers. Superman begins to step forward. Stop whatever you're doing. And Lex taps the siren on his watch. I was hoping that it wouldn't come to this. The truth is a dangerous thing, even more so for you now. If anyone knows your secret identity now, it could kill them. But maybe if we work together, the punishment could be lifted. You should be lucky that I'm still allowing you to be married, though your son is questionable. Lex gets into his suit, and then he's punched out of the building as Superman flies down. You will never mention my son again. Or what? We both know that you would never hurt a living soul. That's what makes this part easy. He kicks a car into the air, and of course, Superman rushes over to save the people inside. But before Lex could realize what's going on, Superman moves behind him, taps him on the shoulder, and launches him into space. He jumps into the air, catching Lex. You have done enough damage for one day. We'll continue this conversation somewhere safe. He rockets faster through space, hurling Lex into the moon with a distant thoom. Lex lays there sighing. I only wished to reason with you. Seconds later, Superman lands on it. I am done letting you hurt the people that I love. What do you know about hurt? When we were in Smallville together, I was alone. I felt like no one in the universe could understand what I was going through. And you lied. You hid who you really were. That you were also alone, an outsider. You could have helped me. Suddenly, Superman is cracked across the face with a mace, and Lex steps up. Instead, you gave them your identity. And if I wasn't good enough for it, no one is! The two begin to punch each other over and over again, and Superman shouts, Where is Manchester Black? I never really did like him. He was smug. He smoked. The world's better off with him gone. What? You better not be saying what I think you're saying. Where is Manchester Black? Oh, just grow up! You know where he is, Superman! In the end, Manchester was more useful than he had any right to be. To both of us, really. Manchester helped me with my little pet project, all while giving me information about your every move on Warworld. And then the masterstroke was Project Blackout. Black's gift of hypnotic control was unmatched, and no less powerful than using it on billions at once. Yes, it did kill him, but still a bargain at twice that price. And thanks to him, I now have access to Warworld tech and enough power to submit even. But before Lex could finish, Superman launches himself at Lex. You murderer! Even though Manchester was a criminal, he risked his life to save people that he never met. And when the Justice League said no, he said yes. After taking a barrage of hits, Lex floats it back up. Maybe I miscalculated. Maybe things would be better without you after all, Superman. He opens up a portal, sweeping Superman into it. As Superman vanishes, Lex takes a moment to catch his breath. Well then. You took that rather poorly. Safe journey, Clark. As he turns to leave, there's a sound as a portal begins to open back up and a voice tells him, You don't get it. I'm not like I was before. As Lex's suit is getting dismantled, Superman reappears from the portal and tells him, My mind and body are stronger than they have ever been. Concepts like weight, distance, temperature, even space-time have largely lost their meaning to me. In moments, I can cross distances that cease to be distance. I don't need little metal suits or ray guns to do it. Superman's mere touch begins to break down Lex's suit, leaving him vulnerable. He begins to beg Superman not to kill him. Of course you would think that. No, you're going to prison for murder. And the next time you think that you may have the power to threaten my family and friends again, think again. And with that, Superman goes to Gotham later. Batman finishes the scan and tells him that there was a planet-wide telepathic attack, a suggestion that wormed its way into every mind on Earth. The Justice League, the Reservists, and the Titans all have psychic defenses set up by Martian Manhunter. Nightwing then says, "Your parents, Jay, Lois, they were all protected by the shield that was around the farm." And Batman continues, "Everyone else on the planet, though, they no longer recognize the identity of Superman." Superman asks, "What about the hundreds of photos and videos that show him and John together?" And Batman tells him, "It's not like the people have forgotten who you are. It's a suggestion so strong that people reject it. Why, of all things that Lex could have done with his power, did he do this? It's simple. He doesn't like the world seeing you and John as human. But really, is this a bad thing? You can't be happy that a powerful force for good like Lois Lane had been reduced to being the wife of Superman in so many people's eyes." Superman thinks about it for a moment and sighs. "That is something that I never did anticipate, Bruce. She never complained, but it wasn't fair to her. Maybe I can adjust to this. I'm just worried about John. I'm worried about what John has lost." Meanwhile, back in Metropolis, John orders a cup of coffee, and when they call his name, he looks at the cup and notices it's spelt John with an H. He tells the server that it's actually without an H, and the server apologizes. He takes the cup. "It's okay, don't be. This is perfect." Back over at Stryker's Island, Lex sits up in his specifically designed prison cell waiting, and already formulating the next plan. And that is the reset of Superman, getting us ready for the dawn of DC, which now has officially started with Lazarus Planet, which we'll also be covering right here. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe to our channel as we bring you comic book recaps on a regular basis. Coming up soon, we've got Batman vs. Robin full story, Task Force Z full story, more Wolverine, and some more X-Men. Hope you guys are excited, and I'll see you later.